The streaming landscape is shifting at breakneck speed, and we have the inside scoop on the big players shaking up your screen. First up is the massive news coming out of Peacock, as they report a substantial $432 million loss in the first quarter despite reaching 46 million subscribers. Comcast co-CEO Mike Cavanaugh and CFO Jason Armstrong are signaling that a major inflection point has been reached with profitability finally on the horizon for the platform.
Tired of dropping your phone or struggling to prop it up? Meet the PopSockets phone grip with expanding kickstand in black, your new must-have accessory. Don't miss out. Grab yours today. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
You cannot talk about the media giant without addressing the epic February run that defined their recent success. NBC Universal is celebrating a legendary stretch that included the Winter Olympics and the Super Bowl, which collectively fueled a 71% revenue jump for Peacock. Mike Cavanaugh and the executive team are betting big that this momentum will carry them through the rest of the year as they continue to refine their media portfolio strategy. In a surprising turn for fans of 90s nostalgia, the highly anticipated Clueless sequel series is officially off the table at Peacock. The project, which was set to feature original star Alicia Silverstone reprising her iconic role, has been scrapped by the streamer after spending over a year in development. While the news is tough for those waiting for Cher to return to the screen's CBS studios, and Paramount reportedly still see major potential for the series in the future marketplace. Finally, we are seeing massive numbers for the foul-mouthed star of the hit show Ted, as the second season smashes records with over 1 billion minutes viewed on Peacock. Seth MacFarlane and the creative team behind the series are dominating the competition by appealing specifically to younger audiences and securing the spot as the most watched original comedy among men aged 18 to 34. If you want to stay on top of every major update in the world of entertainment, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for notifications. Ever wonder what it takes to survive the brutal math of the streaming wars? Peacock just dropped its latest numbers, and they are a masterclass in the growth at all costs dilemma. On one hand, they've crossed the 46 million subscriber mark, adding another 2 million in the first quarter alone. But here is the catch. That massive footprint came with a staggering $432 million loss. It is a familiar story in Hollywood, but one that is quickly losing its charm for investors. Now, Comcast execs are singing a familiar tune, claiming they have hit a meaningful inflection point and that profitability is finally, supposedly, around the corner. But notice what is missing: a timeline. While revenue is up an impressive 71%, climbing to $2 billion, the operating expenses are still eating their lunch. It is a tough pill to swallow when you look at the landscape. Netflix has been in the black for years, and even competitors like Disney Plus and Paramount Plus have managed to stop the bleeding. Peacock is effectively the late bloomer of the group, and they are feeling the pressure. Of course, it is not all bad news. Big-ticket content like NBA rights and hits like The Traitors and Poker Face are keeping eyes on the screen, and the recent Super Bowl and Winter Olympics coverage provided a massive, albeit temporary, adrenaline shot to their ad revenue. But relying on mega events is a high-stakes game. Scaling up is one thing, but keeping those subscribers without torching cash is where the real war is won. If you think Peacock can actually turn the tide this year, let me know in the comments below. Is the era of burning cash to chase subs finally coming to an end, or are we just seeing the next chapter of the same expensive saga? Hit that subscribe button for more updates on the business of your favorite shows. Ever wondered how to turn a single month into a billion-dollar empire? NBC Universal just proved that with what they called Legendary February. It sounds like a marketing slogan, but the numbers back it up. With the Winter Olympics, the Super Bowl, and the NBA All-Star Game all hitting the screen at once, they raked in a staggering $2.2 billion in ad sales alone. That is a masterclass in event-driven programming. But let's look past the headline numbers. Peacock, their streaming arm, is finally hitting its stride. They added 2 million new subscribers, pushing their total to 46 million. That's a 12% jump year over year. Even more impressive, Peacock's revenue soared by 71%, smashing through the $2 billion barrier for the first time. The best part, Comcast executives are confident they'll hit profitability by next quarter. It seems the strategy of betting big on live sports is paying off exactly how they planned. Now you might be thinking, what happens when the Super Bowl is over? Well, even excluding that legendary February bump, Comcast's media revenue still grew by a healthy 13%. They're also benefiting from the recent spin-off of their cable networks into Versant Media, which has allowed them to double down on their primary growth drivers. These 6 core areas now represent over 60% of their total revenue. Looking ahead, they aren't slowing down. With the FIFA World Cup on the horizon and the LA Summer Olympics just 2 years away, they have a roadmap to keep that momentum going. Are you betting on Peacock to dominate the streaming wars, or will economic headwinds finally catch up to their theme parks and ad business? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest industry moves, and remember, in the world of media, content isn't just king, it's the entire kingdom. As if you were holding your breath for the return of Cher Horowitz to our screens, I have some majorly disappointing news to break. The highly anticipated Clueless sequel series over at Peacock has been officially scrapped. It feels like we are living in a total fashion victim moment, right? We were all set to see Alicia Silverstone reprise her iconic role, but Peacock decided to pull the plug, leaving the project in development limbo before it even got off the ground. Now, before you start spiraling, there is a tiny glimmer of hope. Variety reports that CBS Studios and Paramount are still really high on the concept, meaning they are likely going to shop this around to other buyers. It seems like the industry knows that nostalgia for the 90s is still a gold mine, so don't count out a comeback just yet. It is interesting to look back at how long this has been in the works. Just a year ago, Silverstone was on the Today Show, sounding genuinely excited about honoring the legacy of the original 1995 film while adding a fresh, modern twist. Of course, this isn't the first time a Clueless revival has stalled. Remember back in 2020, there was talk of a reboot focusing on Dion. That also fizzled out. It just goes to show how difficult it is to recapture lightning in a bottle, especially when you are dealing with a cult classic that defined a generation. And let's be honest, the Clueless franchise has always had a rocky relationship with television. The original mid-90s sitcom ran for 3 seasons, but with Rachel Blanchard stepping into the role of Cher instead of Silverstone, it never quite hit the same highs as the film. Maybe there is a curse on Beverly Hills. It makes you wonder, should we let some classics stay perfect in their original form, or are you still dying to see what Cher is up to in the modern world? Drop a comment below, and let me know if you think this reboot deserves a second chance, or if it belongs in the archives. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more updates on your favorite pop culture throwbacks. Ever wonder if a foul-mouthed teddy bear could still dominate the streaming charts decades after his prime? Well, hold on to your seats because Ted is back and bigger than ever. According to the latest Nielsen data, the 2nd season of Peacock's hit comedy has absolutely crushed it, racking up over 1.2 billion minutes viewed since its March premiere. That isn't just a win. It makes Ted the #1 original comedy across all streaming platforms for that window. What's really fascinating is who is driving those numbers. The series has become a massive juggernaut with men aged 18 to 34, marking it as the most-watched scripted original on Peacock for that demographic since 2022. It goes to show that Seth MacFarlane's signature brand of irreverent humor still hits that sweet spot for modern audiences. For those who haven't caught up, we are transported back to the 1990s, where Ted's brief flicker of fame has long since fizzled out. He's living in suburban Framingham, Massachusetts, playing sidekick to his 17-year-old best friend, John Bennett. With the family dynamic rounded out by John's blue-collar father Matty and the outspoken, progressive cousin Blair, the show leans heavily into those classic, friction-filled family tropes that make for great TV. Season 2 sees the duo navigating the chaotic mess of senior year, and frankly, the dynamic between the traditionalist Matty and the college-aged activist Blair adds a layer of sharp, topical tension that balances out the absurdity of a talking bear. With MacFarlane running the show alongside co-showrunners Paul Corrigan and Brad Walsh, It is clear this creative team has tapped into a winning formula that keeps fans coming back for more. Are you part of the billion-minute club, or have you yet to dive into this 90s-inspired chaos? Drop a comment below and let me know your favorite moment from the season so far. At the end of the day, Ted proves that even a stuffed toy can have a long, loud, and incredibly successful life if you just keep the jokes coming.